Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. What's so funny starting off the show, John? What are you chuckling about?
The new intro is just
Yes,
a little
yes.
more than I thought.
Yeah, we're continuing to try out the new streaming software, so we're trying some new stuff. CJ went ahead and made some nice new backgrounds, as you can see here, so looking good. But anyways, how are you guys doing today? We got a nice little bounce. That feels good.
It sure does. The bounce was in the market yesterday and not in Bitcoin. So in other words, in equities, but not in cryptos. But boy, it really made a nice move in the overnight session. Once Asia kicked in, it just spiked. And some of it might have been reaction to the equities market not selling off as hard as it did on Monday, guys. None of us are going to say there's a direct and a locked-in correlation there. Could be cause and effect, who knows. But, boy, a lot of the reopening plays that everybody was scared to death of on Monday, like Carnival Cruise Line, that stock is up 8% right now and just screaming higher. American Airlines, United Airlines, AMC is up 7%. So it's meme stocks, it's reopening plays. There's an awful lot that's moving right now that is probably the same sort of optimism that people in the crypto world are feeling to a lesser extent.
Completely agree. Silvergate up 10% for the second day in a row here. And really, a lot of fear coming into the market traditionally when we went down and touched that moving average earlier in the week. But now having a couple days in the green, it's really bringing people confidence and return that we may actually go back to new all-time highs. So we'll have to see if that sentiment kind of continues. But I know there's a very specific technical levels that we've been looking at to call this kind of reversal or to determine a probability of reversal.
And if you look at a stock like a Riot blockchain even, I'm going to take it back to stocks, CJ and Monty, just for a sec, because Riot, just like cryptos, was pretty much peaking in April and May and was up at the 45 level, crashed on down into the low 20s, worked its way all the way back up through June to about 40, and then sold off again into the 24-ish level, and now is moving back up again and making a pretty big move today. So Riot, mRNA, obviously Michael Saylor's MSTR, Square with all of the Jack Dorsey. What's the opposite of FUD, guys? Is it fear of missing out? I'm not sure, but there's a lot of optimism circling around the dedication that Dorsey's giving to not just Bitcoin, but to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And he wants a developer platform as part of Square. So I think that's he might end up being, Elon Musk is sort of Elon Musk of EVs. Dorsey might end up being even more than Michael Saylor, the face of cryptos.
So will you be watching the B-word event today, John, with Jack Dorsey, Elon, and Cathie Wood?
You bet. How can you not? My God, that Monty's talking about the B-word Bitcoin event today. Cathie Woods from ARK, she's a true believer, obviously. Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk is likely to just say anything. But there's not a lot of love for Elon, as the three of us know, in the crypto world right now, but the guy still moves markets. So who knows? He could all of a sudden just kind of shrug his shoulders and go, I was probably wrong. We should be buying up all the Bitcoin we can get because, that stuff about green energy and so forth, they're already green and it's getting greener. Who knows what he's going to say? Because a lot of what he has said in the past hasn't been backed up by facts. So I'll say that he is still a market mover, guys.
it's going to be really interesting to see how the market reacts to the B word event and, what is said. But I definitely can feel the bullish sentiment kind of building here with price action coming up against 32K as we even stream this right now. So, Monty, any thoughts as to the B word conference and a potential impact on price or what you expect to hear?
Yeah, well, I've been saying over the last few weeks, I don't think retail money is going to be the catalyst for that next leg up. But in terms of flipping sentiment on its head, this could definitely be an event to do that. Elon, there's no doubt that, like John said, he can drive these markets. And I think that if he does come out and say something, he comes out with a bullish standpoint, gives a price target, up in the hundreds of thousands, that could be very bullish. And I wouldn't put it past him either. I also wouldn't put it past him to say, Bitcoin's going to 5K. So he could, make the sentiment worse, or he could also, flip us and kind of, save us here. But I don't want to count on that.
Yeah, I don't want to count on that either. But by the way, folks, if you'd like to check out that B Word Summit, you can go over to thebword.org and sign up. I would encourage you to do it if you're somebody in the crypto space, because it will be entertaining if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's dive into the charts real quick, because I did want to just quickly mention those critical levels we've been seeing in Bitcoin here. Let's take a look at, so, we've been focused a lot on the interim here, just these last few months of price action. And it's clear we're in a descending formation here. We're trending down. But like I keep pointing out, if you zoom out a bit, it becomes clear that we're approaching levels that haven't been critical in 6 months. This level of 29K right here, this was the real critical level, not 30K. And we got a very nice bounce from this level. Now today, we had that B word event. In terms of where that could drive us, I think a good place to look would be the 20-period smooth moving average. This is something that over the last few weeks has acted as very clear resistance for price. And I think it will continue to act as resistance going forward. So as you can see, we still have a ways to go until we test that level. If Elon comes out and says something bullish, I wouldn't be surprised if we retested 34K in the interim. But I think it's still likely that we consolidate around this level of 29K. I was encouraged to see we got a bounce here, buyers stepped in, because this was a level that we really hadn't tested since all the way back in December of 2020. People were talking about, first time reaching 30K in a month. Yeah, that's technically true, but this was just a wick down that lasted below 30K for, just a few minutes. So the fact of the matter is we're kind of in territory that we haven't been in half a year. But the fact that buyers stepped in at this very critical level of 29.6K is very encouraging to me.
Yeah, and it was very close to the level that CJ was talking about yesterday, Monty, with us. He said, 29, maybe 28 on this, and if those hold, then maybe, he'll have to cover more of his puts. Did you cover more of your puts is the question.
Yeah, I did last night at about 30,500 to 30,700. So yeah, I think Monty's absolutely right. I think if we get a strong close today, we're likely going to see a return to that smooth moving average at about 33 to 34K. Being said, 31 is still pretty strong resistance. But I want to share ETH chart because it looks very similar, and I think it actually may be a leading indicator to some degree, but I will pull that up in just a moment here. So like Monty had highlighted with that descending triangle on Bitcoin, we're looking at Ethereum here. And, we have those consistent higher lows and lower highs. And, take a look at these nines. Each time we've gotten these, we've really seen a rebound or a return to this smooth moving average. This, of course, was a sell 9, so we get kind of a rejection off that level and turn down. But just a couple days ago, we finally got another one of those kind of reversal indication signals, and we got that paired with one on Bitcoin as well. And so now that we're actually seeing that bullish engulfing candle above the previous resistance level at roughly 1800, 1880, I think we're likely going to return to 2K and possibly 2100 here in the next day or so. That's just kind of what has been consistent. and what we've seen with patterns historically. Support here at 1,700 is really holding, and the next critical level that the bulls are going to have to take out, or else face a further rejection, is close to 2,000 to 2,100, I would say. So that's just what I wanted to put forth on the ETH chart as well. But back to you, gentlemen.
Well, by the way, guys, volatility for Bitcoin peaked in June, hitting a 14-month high. I think we talked about it a little bit as we were going into a pretty harsh selling period. The Bitcoin volatility index right now has pulled back. Let me see if I can get a shorter duration one. It's down from some of those June highs when it was as high as about 5.25%. When I say 5.5%, folks, that's times 16. So 5.5 times 16, that would be a VIX of 88, to put it in S&P terms versus where it is. So, this week on Monday's sell-off, our volatility for the S&P 500 popped almost to 25, but it was 14 July 2nd as we went into the holiday. So it has bled off now to, let's see, where's vol today? Believe it or not, 3.36%. So instead of 88, 3.36 times 16 is 53. So we're down from an 88 vol, again, in same terms as we talk about with the S&P, down to 53 vol. Massive drop in vol. And maybe one of those other reasons that CJ decided to exit those puts, because as the vol comes down, if you own options, they become worth less. Not worthless, but worth less. So another reason that you were smart to do that, I think, CJ.
Yeah, and one thing that CJ has pointed out quite a bit over the last few weeks is kind of how volatility and Bitcoin dominance are kind of very similar metrics in crypto. And what you were just saying, Jon, with volatility peaking in June, that's perfectly in line with what we saw in terms of Bitcoin dominance. And I think that that's going to be a very important chart to watch going forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know I don't want to keep rambling, guys, because we got a special guest as usual.
Yes.
And so I want to step aside and bring in our guest.
That's right. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. We got the young phenom, the crypto kid, Jace, checking in live. How's it going, Jace? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to answer a question that I saw on last week's show.
Okay.
Someone asked, have I thought about Ravencoin? I have thought about mining Ravencoin, but I don't have a good GPU, so I haven't attempted to mine it. I have watched recently that Ravencoin has lost a lot of its value this year. So probably now would probably be the best time to buy while it's under 10 cents. With the hard limitations on KYC, as we talked about last week, I'm mostly limited on what I can mine or to get my grandpa to buy for me. So I give him the money, he buys it, sends me the money, I get the money in crypto. Since KYC won't let me do that because I'm under the age limit. So that's mostly all I got for today.
Gotcha. Well, you're actually speaking to a former Ravencoin miner, Mr. CJ Reichel. Used to be, you're muted, my friend, but you used to be back in the day. I know you were mining some Ravencoin.
Yeah, I was just looking at the chart because I was mining Ravencoin when it was like 2 cents. I mean, it wasn't a lot of Ravencoin, but the price was 2 cents, and then I saw its parabolic run up all the way to 25 cents, and now back to 5 cents. So quite a ride for any of the Ravencoin hodlers out there, but definitely an interesting proof of stake network. I know they're energy efficient was kind of their mantra going into the start of that cryptocurrency. But yeah, any Doges of the day? We don't have to go right away, but just kind of wondering.
Well, Jace, are you still holding that Monero that you bought last week?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very nice. I'm still holding my Monero as well. I don't know if I necessarily have a Doge of the day today, CJ. But you mentioned yesterday, we were talking about some interesting projects. We went in the office yesterday, which is always fun because we get to kind of, talk with some people we haven't seen in a while. And, they always talk to us about crypto projects, want us to do some fundamental analysis. And it's actually cool. They bring some projects to our attention that, we haven't heard of yet. Yesterday, one of our friends, Tyler, brought to our attention a project called Lena, which I'm going to be checking out and sharing with you guys in the room shortly. And yesterday, CJ, you talked about Chia as well, which just was offered on Uphold. And anything else you want to say about Chia? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry, guys. They're doing horrendous construction, and the unit above my place, so it's pretty loud. Monty is burdened by the same construction hell during the summers in Chicago here. But Lena and Chia are very interesting projects. Lena, moreover, because it's kind of like a very interesting swap exchange that we will get more into fundamentally, but also can kind of see how this price action has behaved. But that's one we're definitely going to continue looking into. Chia, I talked a lot about on Trade the Chain yesterday, just because this is a cryptocurrency created by Bram Cohen. It's energy efficient. Not that I don't think Bitcoin necessarily needs to be more energy efficient, but I think this is a narrative that a lot of people will buy into during a bull market, especially when Elon Musk kind of pushes that notion and it becomes more familiar to people. So as you can see by my little bubble here, I did place my first buy on Uphold yesterday of Chia XCH. And in the US, it's available on Gate.io or Uphold. I found Uphold to be a really nice exchange, beautiful interface, nice app. So I'm pretty happy holding the Chia there, but stay tuned because I do think that one's going to be very promising if we do return to a bull market cycle and start trending again. Also, actually, I will pick a Doge of the day, Matic, because Matic has diverged significantly from that moving average and is seeing a large volume buy right now and is actually kind of returning. So I always like to look for assets that have a large divergence from their moving average because it means it needs to return to the mean at some point. And so Matic is going to be my Doge of the day for that reason.
Especially when you take into consideration what you were saying with ETH, CJ, and perhaps a move back up to that smooth moving average. I think if ETH gets that sort of price action, then a lot of alts, especially ones showing a large divergence from the moving average, we'll see some pretty significant positive price action. So I like that pick. Anything you got today, Dr. Doge? I know you're always looking at volume, but not too much volume today.
Yeah, volume today, it's not the day for it. But I'll point out that, again, back to that volatility, because it's volatility and volume for me, Monty. Volatility coming down that much means that, like CJ, I've trimmed an awful lot of the puts that I had on against. I really only trade them against Bitcoin. I know there are some exchanges out there that you can trade Ethereum and perhaps others, but I don't trade those. But I'm also buying back some of my calls because, number one, the volatility has come in so much. The June peak was, I think, the 10th of June, guys, and it was over 6%. And again, that's 6 times 16. So that was, pretty much, it was 6.4, I think, which would have been a volatility of 102. It has come all the way down, like I said earlier, to 3.3, which is about 53. So it's been cut in half, the volatility, which means that on an asset like Bitcoin, if you were getting $5 for a call, now you're getting 2.5. If we're talking out of the money, not in the money, because obviously in the money has intrinsic value. But anyway, when you take volatility down that much, that fast, as we have just in the last 48 hours, I want to buy back a lot of those calls that I've written. So I have. If we saw another drop towards 30, I imagine I'd get a chance, Monty, to sell calls again against it. But otherwise, with vol coming down, I'm going to play Bitcoin the same way I play the stock market. And that is when vol comes down, I'm going to trade out of a lot of the trading Bitcoin that I have, and I'm instead going to put on call spreads because vol is cheaper. So that's what I'm doing.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, thank you for that, John, because we have seen, already this morning a few pretty big bets on some December calls for Bitcoin. So you're not alone in that, and I think that is going to be a very profitable trade.
And as far as going short, like, I always love to think, when in doubt, just get out, because you can always get back in.
I thought you were going to say, when in doubt, zoom out. Isn't that what everybody always says?
I've done that enough in my time.
When it's funny, guys, because you get that all the time. By the way, I'll leave you with that thought, that anybody, that with Peter Schiff gloating and any of the other ghouls that are against Bitcoin and more or less cryptocurrencies gloating as it's sold off, you get somebody like Michael Van de Poppe or Max Kaiser or whatever, and they just say, just zoom out. Just zoom out. In other words, take a longer picture instead of just looking at the day, the week, the month. Look at it over the last year, and that chart is still moving to the upside and going from the lower left to the upper right. But it's hard to do when you're feeling it in the pocketbook.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's all we got for today. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Jace, for coming in, the crypto kid, and talking about some Ravencoin today. I always love to hear from you. And CJ, John, thank you guys as well. And thank you to Voyager for sponsoring this podcast. As always, go check them out. If you're looking for a new brokerage or, looking for a brokerage to get started, Voyager is the place for you. They offer 10% interest on USDC, which is a stable coin, and up to 12% interest on tradable assets like DOT. So definitely go check them out. They're doing great stuff over there. And as always, if you want to check out the crypto room and hang out with CJ and I, you can try that for just $1 for the first month. smartrebellion.com/try crypto. We got a pro charting service, 24/7 chat, actionable trade insights with entries, exits, stop losses, and an expansive education curriculum that's growing every day. So come hang out with us. We're in there pretty much 24/7. Ask us a question. And we actually have our member webinar today at 11:30 Central, during which we'll answer all your questions and do TA on all your favorite assets and more. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.